What up, y'all? Welcome to The Bald and the Beautiful. I am introducing this because Melissa's voice was left back in California. We are currently on pre-vacation vacation. Her 38th birthday party was a smashing success. Her voice is still there on the dance floor right now. I'm Kevin. This is my lovely wife, MrsKevOnStage. We have Angel and Marcus, and we are joined by the lovely, beautiful, and talented Ryan and Clara Oubre from Married at First Night. Please welcome them to the show. Ryan, the first thing I want to say, Ryan and Clara, congratulations on saying yes on decision day. Ryan, it looks like you left the mustache on the reunion special. What was the reason? I was fully engaged with the mustache.
You know what's funny? I just got out of the shower not too long ago, and it was like, should I cut the mustache? Should I bring it back? It comes and goes. It comes and goes.
A certain amount of confidence it takes for a man to have that mustache. And I am proud of you. So this is going to just be kind of a free-for-all. Like we said, Melissa's voice sucks.
Yeah. Being that you already talked about Melissa's voice sucking, I just want it to be known that you all are here. However, the monitor is here. So that's probably where I'm going to be looking most of the time. Just FYI.
We're going to be looking cross-eyed. We having all types of difficulties.
Yeah.
So first things first, how's it been going? Like now that the cameras are off and now that y'all are not being dissected by people like us.
Yeah.
How's it going?
Because y'all dissected us. I've never heard of that.
Oh, you already know the Tanksleys.
They did. I didn't say anything.
You liar. We go hard on everybody. We wish everybody the best, but we go hard for the sake of entertainment. But now that all of that is gone, how are y'all doing?
Good.
Yeah, I would say great. Something that has been awesome is just like the naturalness of like day-to-day life. It's not, you got to do this. There's like a little bit of a beauty into the, our flow of what we want to do and how we want to do it. And I really think something that's been really cool that we were talking about yesterday, especially with like COVID right now, I'm still working from home. So like on days that she's not flying, like we are together, like
110%,
24/7, all the time. So as quick of a process as it is, you guys might see
Miska's coming and going right now
because she hears us talking.
Miska makes the rules. Miska does what she pleases.
Yes.
She hears us talk. She hears us talking to people. She
Miska.
What was it like? I'm curious to know because us four as couples are all in the entertainment industry and in the public eye. You guys have the burden of marrying at first sight, being on a wildly popular TV show, and having people tape the first parts of your marriage. How did you cope with all of that? And people on YouTube telling what you should and shouldn't do. Like, how do you even begin to have any sense of normalcy while the show's going on and you're married?
So what I have broken this down to is 3 phases. You got phase 1, which is filming everything. And that is incredibly intensive and not always super enjoyable. But it's like once you get through that, you're like, okay, the hardest part's done. Not necessarily true. You go to phase 2 and that's airing.
You think the hardest part's done.
Yeah. And
right.
Everyone's got an opinion. You're seeing things that you said kind of, and things people said kind of, and that's really, really tough. And then it's like, if you get past that, you get to phase 3 where everybody recognizes you, and then you sort of fade into the oblivion slowly.
And I would add, there's like a little bit to add into phase 1 into phase 2 is because all these things have happened. So like, after all the things that transpired on the show, it's almost like you have like this weight on your chest and people are like excited. They're like, oh, you're on this show. And you're like, I'm on the show, but there's a lot of stuff that you about to see,
a whole season of stuff you're about to see.
Exactly. And I think that's probably one of the biggest things that I probably wasn't prepared for is that people don't necessarily realize the timeline of events in like actual real time. Like you're seeing this, but this happened 6 months ago, 8 months ago in our heads,
So does that, I imagine, as a married man, does seeing that or having people bring that up, bring those feelings back forward?
Is it triggering?
Ooh.
Oh, very triggering is a great word. Yeah.
That's like spot on, because when you think about the show being filmed, like so much gets filmed, and then you as a viewer might see 2 hours of 2 weeks. And so there's a lot of contextual things that happen to say like, hey, well, you had this conversation and it ended just like that, and you suck. It's like, well, no, there was, I still had to wake up the next morning and she did too. And we talked about it some more, but you don't necessarily get to see all of that.
Do you feel like that? Go ahead, Marcus.
No, so speak. You can speak now. Speak.
Do you feel like that aids in your communication? I feel like in some ways, that's a great springboard of being reflective in a relationship and being able to see those things back and saying, okay, this is what I meant, this is this, and being able to kind of work through those things.
So I think something that is important when you're watching it back is recognizing that you're watching it through someone else's lens, someone who's never met you. Because we film it, they produce it, then it goes to editing. Those people have never met us. So it's really easy to watch it and think, okay, we need to have a conversation about this. But it's like, we have to keep the memory of how the conversation really went intact and know like, okay, that wasn't necessarily bad for us then, so we can't make it a big deal now.
Understand.
Yeah, I would say, to add on to that, I agree with that 100%. There's also like, I can't remember specifically when we had this conversation, but I remember us having a conversation while the show was airing of us saying, we know what's real and we know what's a little spice is being added to it. We know the things that we do need to sit down and discuss, and we know the things that were like, that were added into the plot a little bit.
So like I said this, many times before, and I even asked the question while we were filming one time, if the four of us were put in that situation, do we think we would have made it? And I think unanimously throughout the group, we were like, no. Like, I don't think me and Angel would have made it had we been put together on the first time ever meeting. It was like, all right, now you're married. It would have lasted probably about 4 or 5 hours after that night. But so now that you went through that process, which nobody can deny, it's got to be extremely difficult. And with all these eyes on you, now that you're in your private life, is it like so much better and relieving now? It's like, all right, because I know for a fact I've been in like a reality show filming, and I hate film crews. Like, I would say, shut up and get out of my face. So now that you don't have all that stress, does it make marriage that much better?
I'll answer that question. I want to comment on what you just said, Marcus, because that's a really, really good point. Or like, I think it's something you should give yourself more credit in getting put into this scenario, because I think that there's one of two things that are going to happen in a scenario like this. It is going to forge you closer than any relationship that you've ever had, or it's going to push you in the opposite. It's going to be one of two things. The reason I say that is because I specifically remember us getting, to Vegas and those first few days of it, something that I think people lose sight of because of how many episodes have happened. When we get to Vegas, we've known each other for 3, maybe 4 days at that point. The group of guys, I've known them for maybe 2 weeks at that point. And the reason I bring that up to what you just said is I think Vegas brought us closer together in a shorter amount of time than anything could have ever happened. Like when you're going through this, I remember, getting off the bus and us talking and the cameras getting away for a second. And it's like, it's you and I, like, it's me and you. I didn't come here for the other couples. I didn't come here for all that other stuff. It's me and you. Like, I just don't, respectfully, and I love everybody else, I just don't have time for that. Because when I said I do, I didn't say I do. My bad, Angel.
That was very apparent that you were like, listen, praise God for everybody in their union. Clara, me, this is why we're here. Was that something that you all got an understanding of very clearly? Because I feel like you all, if I think about all the couples, you all probably the most had a very strong pack about this experience. Though it's being captured by cameras, it is truly about you and our intimate moments and how we decide we want to handle our marriage. Was that something you all decided on early on, or am I reading that wrong and that wasn't something y'all had decided on?
I don't think it would necessarily, and feel free to add to it, I don't think it's necessarily something that we decided on to be like, hey, like, we're not speaking about this. Like, clearly there's something that gets said in the show. If Clara wants to say something, she's gonna say it, and I love her for it. Like that's very different for me, but it encourages me to view things from a different perspective. And so I wouldn't necessarily say it was a pact, but it was just I can't put into words. Maybe it's more of me in the sense of like I'm a pretty like I don't know. I'm a pretty like quiet dude in the sense of like I do what I do. I'm routine. I wake up. I do the same things. And for me to get plunged in this scenario like this and like, hey, how do you feel about this? How do you feel about that? Like all these different things that are happening. For me, the only thing that I knew to do was to cling on to the vows that I made to her. That hey, I don't care about anything else. I said I do to you. And, I wish everybody else the best, but I got to take care of her. I made a promise to her parents to take care of her.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break and hear from our sponsors. We'll be right back.
You guys, we here at The Bald and the Beautiful want to make sure you are living your best life. And we know that sometimes there are things that you can't help, that you just need professional help to get you there. And that is why we're excited to have BetterHelp sponsor this episode of The Bald and the Beautiful. BetterHelp will assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist. You can start communicating in under 48 hours. It's not a crisis line. It is not self-help. It is professional counseling done securely online. There's a broad range of expertise available, which may not be locally available in many areas. The service is available for clients worldwide. You can log into your account anytime and send a message to your counselor. You get timely and thoughtful responses. Plus, you can schedule weekly videos or phone sessions, so you won't have to sit in an uncomfortable waiting room as with traditional therapy. BetterHelp is committed to facilitating great therapeutic matches, so they make it easy and free to change counselors if needed. It's more affordable than traditional offline counseling, and financial aid is available. BetterHelp wants you to start living a happier life today. So visit betterhelp.com/TBTB.
TBTB.
That's BetterHelp, and join the over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced professional. In fact, so many people have been using BetterHelp that they are recruiting additional counselors in all 50 states. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp, and the Bald and the Beautiful listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/TBTB.
TBTB.
Thank you so much, BetterHelp.
All right. Thank you for our sponsors. We're back. Go ahead, Clara.
So I was just going to add to that and say, again, I say everything that's on my mind. And I very clearly said when we first met, my biggest fear is that I've come into this all in, and I'm afraid that you won't have. And I think that was really, really important for us to establish very early on that, again, we're not here for the other couples. We're not here for the cameras. Yes, that's what brought us together, but we both really came into this with the intention of making a marriage work. And I think without both of us being on the same page with that, we wouldn't have been able to be as successful as we ended up being.
Yeah, listen, I feel like My Name is Bennett, I Ain't In It was probably needed for this season more than any other season. I feel like, I don't know about the ratings, but listen, we had our successful YouTube videos. It was something. Were you guys like, we don't have to speak on particulars, but were you guys in the season like, fam, this is a lot. Like, this is a lot. Most of the stuff happened in the group like settings. You know what I'm saying? Did it feel like that to y'all? Because I know it felt like that to us and the viewers.
Claire, don't you bite your tongue, Clara.
Just say
what you say.
You gotta go for it. No, ladies first.
Claire said, mother. Who you telling?
we came home from our week in Vegas and we sat down with both sets of parents and a handful of friends, and we were like, y'all are not going to believe.
And I tell you, without fail, every time would be like, what's that mean when people are like, man, that's crazy. And it's like, you don't understand. You don't. And then and people are texting you like, why didn't you tell me this? I'm like, Mom, like I told you this. Like I told you this, Mom, very clearly. I told you.
You know, my favorite moment from probably has to be from Ryan. Like, everybody knows about the scene on the bus and everybody's going on. This is Ryan. Got the business over.
That's what it looked like. Ryan was talking about something. It's like we're not participating in foolishness.
For notice.
Angel and Marcus, y'all computer glitched. We missed the joke completely.
Oh,
y'all were completely glitched. I was like, I hope something funny is happening, but
it was hilarious. Best moment that we ever recorded.
The thing that I will say about like that particular moment in the build up to that moment, I think something really in my train of thought, again, like I'm going to harp back to, we have known these people. I've known her for 3 days. I've known the wives for 3 days. Like, for me to interject myself into that scenario without somebody asking me, like, hey, Kev, if you ask me for advice on something, all right, I'll give you advice.
Right.
But if you haven't asked for my advice, then I'm not going to give it. And, you know, I'm going to pray for you, wish you the best, and hope things work out, that they work out. But that just wasn't, I felt, my scenario to interject. And so
and listen, I understand. I think a lot of times people forget that you are also trying to work out your own marriage
in real time.
Yeah, in real time. And Claire, I think for you, it looked like you were just like, this is my homegirl. Are we just newly homegirls, but I got to at least, you know, do my part. And then when that happened, you were like, you know what? This is my husband. This is my husband. I'm just focus on my husband. I want to talk a little bit more about that timeline. I think that's the hardest thing for people who are not on the show. One, we're watching entertainment, we're watching television, and we are watching, you know, one day span out over 3 weeks, 4 weeks, right? And I think that the compressed timeline that you guys have seems like the hardest part of that. Like, it is literally meet a person, the next day or so, you're on your honeymoon, like with a person you just met, and you have cameras. Like, I just want you guys to reset us. I think we'll probably take it easier on further seasons because, you know, we're watching that show. We're on our 8th episode, and y'all are on Thursday.
Yes, exactly. No, 100% spot on.
No, I mean, go for it.
I was gonna say, yeah, like that. If you just break it down by timeline, like I can't remember like specifically, but I want to say the first episode is getting to meet everybody. The next 2 or 3 episodes is the wedding. Like 4, 5, 6, 7 is the honeymoon. So you're at 7 episodes in on like 18, 20 episodes total of the show. You're halfway through with the season and you're only 1 week into this thing.
Right.
And so that's like, people are like, I can't believe this. I can't believe that. He needs to move faster and all that stuff. I'm like, bro,
it's been 6 days.
It's been
6 days.
6 days for us.
I'm still trying to learn your cell phone number here. Like, I don't like by memory. I got it programmed in, but I don't know it off the top of my head yet. Like,
right. And oh, go ahead, sir.
She said, you know, that's real. Because smartphones, you don't have to remember numbers these days, okay? I know Kez, that's about it.
And we only know each other because we've known them since before smartphones. We actually had to memorize them.
Yeah.
I want to commend you, Clara. I remember one episode where I was like, me and Clara are the same. When Ryan brought you donuts and he was asking you about your whole life, and you were just like, look, man, I came for the donuts. Okay. I came for you asking all these questions. We talk about the donuts. I have never connected to a person on television more than in that moment. What was going through your mind?
You know what? So something else that you don't see is that the way they present episodes maybe doesn't happen in the same order that way. So what I didn't know at the time was we were about to go to Jake's pool party. I'm hungry. I wanted to get food. This was a surprise date he planned, and then Jake's party was a surprise. And I'm like, I want dinner. Okay.
Right.
And now,
first.
And it's one of those things where I can talk for hours on something that I can talk about, but it was like, I don't have anything to add to this conversation. So I feel like an idiot.
Yeah.
I'm grumpy and I'm eating the donuts and I'm like, can we please find something that I can at least talk about? I was so over. I wasn't trying to be rude, but I was just like,
hey, goals are important, you know? You get it.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. It's not during donuts. Not during donuts.
I think, go ahead, Claire. I'm sorry.
No, I just said priorities.
Yeah. I think, we touched on this a little bit at the beginning of the episode, but like cameras being there, not 24 hours, but a lot of time, right? And then you have the closed circuit ones. Nobody on Earth's relationship would look well under that light. Even, Melissa and I, it's 17 years of marriage as of a couple weeks ago. And also, we know we're watching TV, so you're going to put up enough to create a television show, right? So were you guys ever seeing stuff like, put all the other good stuff in? We was having great days.
So I think we did the math, and it's like for every minute you see, there's 4 hours that you don't.
Wow. That is some perspective.
We're filming 60 hours a week for basically 12 weeks between getting told and then decision day.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot where I'm like, okay, but I had so many nice things to say. What's up with that?
It's tough because actually I went on a live with Miles from the New Orleans season the other week. And we talked about that in the sense of like, I think a mind shift change for all of us that we really have to go through. While the show, like the show is meant to put people together, there's also like an entertainment value in it.
Of course, for sure.
And like, I'm guessing, see, look at you saying for sure.
My jammy jam.
And yeah, that's my jam. And so what we have to look at, I'm sure y'all have experience being in this light so much, is that like, when people are commenting, like, sure, there's mean comments here and there, like behind the camera, but like a lot of the things that we're doing is from an entertainment aspect. And so like my analytical brain, probably what got me in trouble on the show a lot is I probably just asked too many questions. Like it was like, I remember specifically when we did the yoga and like, I'm like, yo, I love yoga. I do yoga probably like once or twice a week. It's great. It's awesome. And so they were like, we're going to do tantric yoga. And I'm like, Googling, I don't know what tantric is. I'm like, okay, cool. And so I'm like, so after this, we should have sex. Is that like what you're saying by that? And they're like, just do the tantric yoga, Ryan. And I'm like, my analytical brain has to understand it.
I get that. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll be right back. Want to talk to you today about Magic Spoon. At my big age of 38, I thought by now I'd be done with cereal. I'm going to be a man. I'm going to have a briefcase. I'm going to have a Lincoln Town Car. I'm going to eat adult stuff for breakfast. I was wrong. I still eat cereal. But growing up, I was able to eat super sugary, unhealthy cereals. At my big age, my bowels can't take it. So thank God I got me some Magic Spoon. I've been able to cut down on carbs, sugar, unhealthy food, and all that, and still have an amazing treat that's good in the morning, late at night, middle of the day, a snack or a meal, and that's cereal. Listen, it's got 0 grams of sugar, 13, 14 grams of protein, and only 4 net grams in each serving. Only 140 calories a serving. I like to make my own Blinnamin. That's blueberry and cinnamon. I know it's non-traditional, but I say, let me get some Blinnamin in my body. And my body say, oh, we like the Blinnamin. Oh, yeah. And so you mix blueberry and cinnamon together, you get Blinnamin. Try it and let me know what you think. So here's what I want you to do. Go to magicspoon.com/tbtb.
TBTB.
To grab your delicious cereal and try it today. And be sure to use our promo code TBTB at checkout to save $5 off your order. And Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money. No questions asked. Listen, get your next delicious bowl of guilt-free cereal at magicspoon.com/TBTB and use the code TBTB to save $5 off. Thank you, Magic Spoon, for sponsoring this episode. And back to the show. All right. Thank you guys for supporting our sponsors. We're back. I want to know.
I have a question too.
Oh, please go ahead.
What made you guys decide to do the show? I'm always wondering, like, when you go back, like, what is going on in your world, in your mind that you're like, yes, I'm going to do this?
That's a great question. Go.
I don't know if we can. Both of us were contacted on Instagram. I guess that's very normal in reality TV for casting people to go on the dating apps and Instagram and whatever.
Sure.
And for me, it was like I got contacted and was like, oh, okay, whatever. I was like, there's never in a million years is this gonna happen. So what do I have to lose? Like, they want me to be famous, whatever. Like, no, that's never gonna happen. So for me, it was like, I very much believe everything happens for a reason.
Right.
going on. So it wasn't like I was wasting time with these interviews because there was nothing else to do. And I was like, well, if I get picked, it's meant to be, but I'm not going to get picked. So it doesn't matter. And then it was like further and further and further. And then once it came down to it, it was like, okay, well, they said 70,000 people applied for this season. So clearly there's a reason that this come to me, and I would be a fool not to give it a chance.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was going to say for me, really my rationale for doing the show, my background, I've given a lot of myself professionally. I've moved around a lot. I moved out to California, moved out to Philly. I've done a lot of traveling for work. Pre-COVID, there was a time when I was on a project to San Francisco, literally Monday through Friday. So a lot of my like personal life and social life had been really like focused on work. And so I really had never made time, or probably I would say I made time, but not enough time in the appropriate amount of time to like make a relationship successful. And so I thought in a scenario like this, it would really be a good opportunity to have people that are, experts that do, specialize in this field to match me with somebody. I mean, the process of getting to this is very extensive in the sense of the questions that you go through, the psych evaluations. I mean, like I remember the questions that like, it's not like what's your political affiliation. It's like, how do you feel about gay rights? How do you feel about these things? And it's very specific. And hopefully I can say those things, but it's very, you answer, how do you feel about gun rights? So it's very, very specific. And so I felt if I was open and honest, that the right person would appear.
Yeah, I think, well, actually I have one more question. I'll go to what I think. Let me say what I think. I can see why the experts put you guys together. And I was like, I remember from the beginning, I was like, I felt like you guys, I had a really strong hope for. The only thing that I felt like might be an issue is the timeline and then the pressure. You have like the producer's pressure and the social pressures and things like that. Because I remember, the whole thing of like, will Ryan say, I love you? And, sex, that thing was a thing. And I kept telling myself, man, this is like.
Sex was a thing? Sex
was yeah.
Was sex a thing?
Oh man, I said Ryan is a gentleman. He is preserving himself. He wants to make sure everything is good. But I think we were right. I feel like you guys had a great shot and it obviously worked out. What I want to know is the moment the cameras left, wasn't it immediate like whole new world for you guys? Or was it like, did it take some time to decompress from that part being such a big part of your lives?
Well, to be perfectly honest, the very first day done with the show, it was a presidential election. So
we stress all the way through.
Literally,
that wasn't even done the first day. That was dragged on for a month or two.
Yeah.
We wrapped on Monday, and then Tuesday was the election. So we're done. I think we stayed up till probably like 1-2 in the morning watching.
Y'all had to live through the results of the election and then the election trying to get overturned for another 3 months.
Exactly. Yes. that was day one of marriage, and it was real. It was crazy. But to answer your question, I would say like it was getting into like a routine away. And I know I keep saying that, but like understanding like her schedule and her preferences, because it's really, I'll be honest with you, I think it's actually tougher during the show to understand those things because you're on an atypical schedule. Like you have these filming requirements. So you can't necessarily do the things like I talked about the gym, at the beginning of the show. And I feel like I took a 2-month break from the gym, and that's a really big part of my life that she sees every day. So like, it's almost like you learn each other from the show's lens, but you almost like relearn each other outside of the show as well.
Well, and for me, something you guys didn't get to see that I was kind of surprised was I struggle with anxiety, like severe anxiety. I talked about that a good bit. So anyway, but the filming process so stressed me out. I was miserable, y'all. I didn't like it. And I felt so not myself by the end of it because I had basically shut down. And people online are like, she lost her sparkle. I did, because I was just so anxious. And then the cameras go away. And I, in that week of the election, was like, okay, I can breathe and I feel like myself again. And now I can really start this marriage from a healthier place.
Mm-hmm.
And you can learn who I am away from like severe anxiety.
I think that's something that's really tough that people don't like comprehend. Like if there's a comment, a recurring comment that I get all the time on social media is like, you knew what you were signing up for. And it's like, but no, like we didn't, so to speak. Like, don't get me wrong, the analytical guy here watched, the past 3 or 4 seasons and tried to, pick his chess moves throughout everything. But at the end of the day, it's kind of like, your first time driving a car. People can tell you how to drive a car, but until you put the gas and the key in the ignition and the first red light and someone brakes, like you don't know what to expect.
Right.
So we knew what to expect, but you don't know what to expect until that camera gets turned on. Somebody tells you something crazy and you got a camera in your face and somebody says, what do you think about that?
I am just so shocked by Clara's statement. You seem like such a natural in front of the camera. And I figured if we weren't hearing from you a lot during the episode, it's because we had so much other mess of like stuff that people were going through. So that's definitely something that I don't think any of the audience possibly picked up on. But on maybe a brighter note, and hopefully y'all didn't ask this when we were having all of our technical difficulties.
Hiatus again.
Jesus help us. What was y'all's favorite part? Like, I know there's a lot of parts that you can like dissect and be like, this was just, but what was the part that you were just like, well, this is pretty cool?
Well, dune buggies.
That was fun.
Pre-fight. Oh my God, that was so cool.
You see like 30 seconds of it, but we went like 5 miles into the desert, no cell phone service. It was, I would do that again. I would gladly pay the money to do that again.
It was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. Our helicopter ride.
I was absolutely.
Our whole like 1 month anniversary date. We really actually enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah, the helicopter ride over Atlanta was gorgeous. Just seeing Atlanta through a different lens and having her there with me and us doing that together. Like it's one of those things like we look back and like, okay, those are shared memories that we're going to take away from this, that I don't know if we'll forget the other things that happened along the way, but those are the things that, we'll tell, friends and families and tell stories about that forever.
Those are the ones that you cherish.
Yes, without a doubt. We got some selfies and pictures we took that are for us,
Y'all had a good 1 month anniversary. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just making the statement. Theirs was a good one. Like when I think about what people did for their 1 month, y'all had a good one. The helicopter ride was a dope one.
We're going to take a quick break while these sirens are in the back.
Y'all know I'm going to be on tour, on planes all the time. And I want to be able to get into my books because I haven't been able to read many books, especially not after having Amar, the landlord. He takes up all my time. Mm-hmm. But now, y'all, I got Audible. Now, Audible is the leading provider of spoken word entertainment all in one place. You can get the largest selection of audiobooks from bestsellers and new releases. You can also get binge-worthy podcasts as well and original entertainment from top celebrity creators. Y'all, there are so many great books out there right now, especially books by wonderful Black female authors. You got to get into it. So we want you to check out Audible, okay? Because Audible is where you're going to be able to get all of your great summer reads done and feel accomplished. I always feel like I'm special when I've read a book. I feel smarter for some reason to be like, I read that. I did. I saw it. I seen it.
You are smarter, Angel, as a result. You definitely are.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So
Audible makes it easy because you can audio listen.
Yeah, you can audio listen. You can Michelle Obama's Becoming. It's a thick book. I own the paperback, but guess who didn't get to read none of the words? Yes. Me. But I got to hear her read the words to me because that's what I had time for. Okay. Yes. Especially sitting in traffic on the 405. I was like, Michelle, talk to me. So this is what we want.
Before you do the thing, in my book club, we're doing a series on Black women authors. And we're listening, obviously, to all of them on Audible. And we did Michelle Williams, Yvonne Orji, and who else did we just do? There was someone else that just came out with a book. Oh, Sarah Jakes Roberts. And we listened to all of them, and listening to an author give their book in the form and the inflection in their voices and experience like none other. Michelle Williams is talking to you like like your homegirl, the way she kind of talks and giggles.
Sarah.
Lovey's book is like that as well, but so is Sarah's actually as well. Like they just have an energy that you get when you're audio listening that you don't get when you're just reading. So it's always my favorite way to experience a book is through audio listening.
And one other tidbit before I tell y'all where to go so y'all can get on this. You know, I got one of my children, he is dyslexic. And one of the things that helps is if he's listening to the words while he's reading. So you can do that with Audible. If you have a child that is that they learn differently, being able to give them the gift of Audible so that they can relax their mind as they read is, I'm telling you, you're going to take them to higher heights. So this is what we want you to do. We want you to visit audible.com/tbtb
TBTB.
or text TBTB to 500-500. I'm going to tell y'all that one more time. Visit audible.com/tbtb or text TBTB to 500-500. And just so you know, when you sign up for Audible, you will get 1 credit every month, good for any title in the entire premium selection. So that's a treat that you automatically get as an Audible member, is 1 credit every month, good for any title in their entire premium selection. Thank you, Audible, for sponsoring this podcast. And now back to the show.
All right, we're back from a break. We got Ryan and Clara Oubre from Married at First Sight, and they are still married at Second Sight and Third Sight. What are you guys looking forward to now that you guys are on the other side of the roughest part?
Well, the end of COVID, getting back to normal, you know, it's hard to say what we're looking forward to because it's like we have so much going on in the next 6 months. Like we're looking forward to a lot of little things.
Yeah.
The tough part, like that doesn't get really shown on the show a lot, is dealing with COVID while the show is filming.
Yeah.
Tested multiple times a week. We dealt with false positives of people. Like I was ready to film a scene with one of my best friends, and she had a false positive. She had to get tested 2 more times, and it's like the stress and anxiety, and even like you want to go out after filming and just maybe like see people. You know, it was like I think about after we filmed the last of the decision, like that big group meetup. And like everyone came over to our house and we're talking and meeting, and we're like, this is our first time having a conversation without microphones on. So it's like, it's like little things like that, like meeting extended family and friends that we really didn't get to do. We had 13 people each at the wedding. So
wow. Are you guys going to renew your vows?
We're trying to, but so with the way the show went, we weren't allowed to reach out to vendors until after the show was over. So I can't find a venue for love or money in the city of Atlanta. So
I bet
hypothetically, yes, potentially it may get pushed back to next New Year. We're kind of playing it by ear right now.
Yeah, it's been tough.
Clara
is that the day you guys got married?
No.
Our wedding anniversary is August 29th, so roughly 2 months away. We wanted
New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
Clara, has you been, you know, you guys basically became instantly famous over the course of like 2, and the Married at First Sight fan base is a rabid.
Oh my God.
And we're part of that fan base. We're
late though.
We had nothing, Ryan and Clara. You must understand. It was COVID. We had nothing. Married at First Sight reached out to us as a show and said, please binge us. And we said yes. So we are like,
not literally, guys.
Not the show. I mean, literally, I think Melissa found it and she was watching like every day. And then the new season started and we were immediately hooked. We love it. Has it been hard to do your job, Clara, since your job, you actually interact with people?
So yes and no. I was hoping the masks would keep me a little anonymous. That doesn't work. My wings on my uniform say either Caroline or Madison. That doesn't help. People still know who I am. Luckily, for the most part, people have been very, very nice and very respectful. I did have this woman, I think her name was Crazy Sue, and she took like 47 pictures of me while I was working the other day. And that was a little much for me. But for the most part, the passengers have been very, very nice. Flight attendants have also either been very nice or not super nice. So that's been kind of weird. I don't bring it up unless somebody else brings it up, and then I'll talk to you about it for days. Otherwise, I just don't say a word.
Do you have, okay, so obviously it's not we, it's me. I like to believe we're one of the most popular review shows of Married at First Sight. Actually, I think we do a pretty fair job, to be honest. But let me get my ponytail. Did you get caught in the rabbit hole of watching reviews, doing nothing?
Good job.
Don't leave us alone. We're terrible for your mental health.
We are awful.
So sorry, that's a question for you.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. I went down the Reddit rabbit hole.
Oh no!
It's on Reddit.
The worst one.
That's terrible.
Plus, you could just kind of scroll until you see your name, and you'd read like 3 or 4 nice things, and then you get to one rude one, and you're like, all right, turn it off. I didn't get into the videos because I feel like that requires more of a time commitment, and this was sort of like a passing.
So she wasn't talking to
scrolling
me.
thing. I learned really quickly that Twitter, not my fan base.
Oh, bless it.
Let me tell you what. Twitter is a cesspool of cynicism. Every bad thing ever spawns on Twitter. It is a necessary evil in a lot of ways, but boy, it is not my favorite platform. It is just like, are y'all okay?
They're not.
What's funny for me, I feel like I did a really good job of shutting literally everything out. I think I did 1 week like reading like Twitter, Facebook, the Matchmaking Special, and I was like, that's enough for me. And so you know, it's funny. I shut everything else out, but the only thing I did watch is I watched y'all. I did.
Yeah, you
did. Because I came across, because obviously Kev, with you in the comedy space, I came across and I was like, is he talking? He's talking about me. Okay.
And so, Kev said for sure.
For sure.
I would say that.
And so I did a pretty good job, because the thing about it, it's dangerous. Like, people don't understand that. Like, for like a marriage, that's really like, are we fighting about something that's really between us? Or are we fighting about Betty Sue in Wyoming that said Ryan needs to shut up and stop talking about
yes.
Let me tell you what is a dangerous slope,
you are
boy.
Correct, Ryan.
You can do that easily. The worst thing for people in this business is see a comment that's on your side and be like, and I know I was right.
Yes.
There's 7,000 more that make your spouse right. And I think that's a very important thing you said, Ryan. What are we fighting about?
Yeah.
Are we fighting about, did we do anything to each other, or are we triggered, or maybe not even triggered? Are we frustrated at the negativity that's spawned? Because I mean, obviously you guys found love, you found marriage, but you also have social media, which I'm sure the show wishes they could control social media, but it's like the best and worst. Social media is how we found out about the show, it's how we talk about it, so it helps. But also, you guys are people. You're not even like actors. You're just people. So you don't have media training. You didn't grow up preparing for this. Like, at least for me, I've been going through my share of this for years. You guys are just working one day, and then it was like, and I feel like Clara did this, and I don't like Ryan's mustache. You're like, that ain't usually how my comments look.
And the thing is, like you still got like your regular group of friends that are like excited that you're on the show. But I had to have like a conversation. I got a group text with like four or five of my closest friends, and I'm like, hey man, you can't send me every meme about
Kevin just had to have that talk.
I had to have that talk with Angel. I said, girl,
I apologize before you had the talk. I said, why did I send you this? I'm so sorry.
I said and I'm already in the comments. I can't help myself.
I'm so sorry. Sorry, friend.
I can block myself out of everybody else, but like you are in my inner circle now. So when you say something that actually probably does hurt, as opposed to I can block out all the other stuff.
Yeah. I want to get this out because I've been holding it since before the last break. When you were talking about like people say, oh, well, you know what you signed up for, and you was like, no, actually you didn't. I think when people say that, they make that comment, they really don't understand the pressure that comes with all that. Like, you didn't sign up to be in the public eye, make sure you're seen. You signed up to find love. And I'm glad you said that, and you got to say that in front of a camera of, we signed up for this show, but we didn't sign up to be a celebrity. We didn't sign up for everybody to say any and everything they want to about us. I apologize. We didn't sign up for
I'm sorry. But
it's one of those things where it's like, have you noticed a difference with each other? Like, have you know, like cameras here, like, okay, here's the camera. We have this conversation. They're gone. All right, look.
Oh yeah, because Marcus is a different person on camera than he is off camera. He's now finessed that to a T. Have you all figured out how to finesse that?
I don't need you to.
Now listen, I said it.
So I think this is a good time to talk about something.
Oh God.
Look at Kim. Look at everybody. Everybody. Hard to turn her camera on. So to that point, it's almost like you want to. I wanted, so the only thing that I wanted in this world was to take care of her through this process, because I saw how tough and how draining this was, and how it was wearing on both of us, because it is an experience in itself for a relationship to go through that. It really just is an experience. And so a hot button item for us was sex the entire time. I'm going to give you guys a spoiler alert. Like, we had been having sex the entire time.
Shut up.
But
now your voice is strong.
But
shut up, Ryan. Nope, you shut up right now. Saying words to me.
But to sit there and protect our relationship, it almost felt like at times the camera was being weaponized, because we didn't necessarily want to sit there and entertain those conversations over and over and over again.
It felt like here's the buzzword. Clara says sexually frustrated, and we can all go home for the night.
Yeah.
So.
And so what you actually start realizing, and I don't think I've ever vocalized this to you out loud, is that this thing right here is not as important as this. And so you can sit there and, at a certain point, you can make the comment and say whatever you want here, this, that, and the third, but it's like, I came for this. And so is it cool, like, to have an Instagram following and to be able to do these things? Like, it is cool. It's very cool to sit here and talk with y'all. But like, at the end of the day, like, I didn't come for that. And neither one of us really did. And I think that's probably one of the most comforting things that helped us bond together so quickly.
Yeah, every season.
Go ahead, Marcus.
Oh no, every season there seems to be that person that I can relate to of, yeah, I'm on this show, but I ain't really here for the cameras. Like, I'm a very private person, and every time now I can spot it. Like, I get it. Mm-hmm. Even when everybody disagrees, like, but I get it, because that would be me. Like,
he's just not gonna get nothing.
I was gonna say, I think by the end.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Claire. Go ahead.
Something that we had to talk about a lot in the beginning was, like, we signed up for Married at First Sight. Not Big Brother, not The Bachelor, not, we didn't sign up for Love and Hip Hop.
Married at Other Couples.
Married at Other Couples. Because we wanted to be married and we wanted to give this a shot. So again, with like you guys signed up for this, and we're like, well, we thought we signed up to get married and be married to each other and whatever else. We didn't think we were doing Celebrity Big Brother, where we're all in everybody else's business.
And so the last thing I'll add to that, I think what you start seeing between us is us collectively shut down as a unit. Mm-hmm. Because
absolutely,
it's tough, because it's like, yeah, this is for entertainment, but like, I look back on previous seasons and I was like ready to like argue about like dirty dishes, and you like to make sure you separate the clothes in the laundry, which we discovered neither one of us do that today. But like, I was ready to like discuss those things. But now you're like putting me in these scenarios, and it's like, honestly, for me, the way my brain was thinking is this, a lot of these things that we're seeing on the show, to be honest with you, is bigger than any of us on this meeting right now, and this podcast. These are like real life issues.
Yeah.
And I'd rather talk to you about it in a space like that, like here, than a space on that television screen, because those are two different. The things I want to talk about, that's not for entertainment. That's real life.
Yeah.
One of the things I think I said toward the end, I was like, "Oh, Ryan likes deep conversations," because I'm also
Ryan. You guys would fit in with us at a game night more than you would realize.
First of all, Ryan dropped bombs over Baghdad and it just kept going.
He did.
He was like, spoiler alert. We were like, what?
You know what y'all did though in that moment, and this is what you have to do in marriage. You have to say, "I choose us. I choose you," regardless of what that means for the show or social media.
That's my
18th
lesson.
You know what?
Thank you.
I choose you. I choose us. Let's focus, because at the end of the day, we love you guys. We love the show. After we finish our episode, we go on about our life. And then y'all are sitting here still fussing over what we said in a show, and we're at Yard House. We're on our fourth meeting. We don't even remember. Like, that's what I had to say to myself. Somebody's comment done got me up, up in arms, and
they not think about it.
They're playing video games. Now I'm really over here really flustered about it, and they might not even remember what they said.
There was something my brother said to me that stuck with me once about the first or second week. This thing started getting in, and we're getting DMs. Chad told me, he's like, bro, these people are using the bathroom in the morning, flicking through Instagram, leaving a comment. They flush and don't think about you for the next couple of days.
Yeah.
Why are you giving people, this power and this control over their comments? And it's like, hey, bro, when you put it like that.
But the thing is, I saw this tweet and it's so good. It said, it's hard not to take things personally when you're a person.
Yeah, it is. Well, I will say one of the biggest things I've taken away from this interview is that Ryan and Jacob watch this show. That's what we got two of them.
We got two, y'all. Two that we know of.
And Clara, I have to know this. You hashtag main character energy.
Not telling you that.
Yeah, I was at a loss for an Instagram caption, and I went on TikTok and typed in "good Instagram caption," and it was in a TikTok. So,
hey, hashtag influencing. That's influencing for you.
I was like, TikTok. I'm not on TikTok. Everybody was like, Melissa, Clara, it's Clara. Look, she did. And da. I was like, oh, let me see. Let me find out. Let me find out.
I saw that.
Listen, you guys are fantastic, man. You guys are great. I really am. I'm honestly, truly, as a married person, we all root for marriages to win. We know how difficult it is outside of social media. We are grateful that you guys have taken the time to sit with us and chat with us. We really appreciate you making the time. Y'all working regular lives.
I have one question because I hear you wrapping up.
Okay, Melissa has one more question.
I know Kevin takes control when he gets tired, hungry, or hot.
I'm not tired.
Mm-hmm. Kevin, you are all those things right now.
I'm not tired or hungry. I am hot though.
I said or, not am.
That's why I said I stopped at tired, hungry. I didn't say hot.
Okay.
And I wanted to keep them within an hour. We about had them over an hour because they've been here.
If y'all got time, we got time.
Yeah, we're good.
We take advantage.
Okay, he's hot. What he does,
I want to respect y'all time.
This is marriage.
Kev, I do see your boobs sweat though.
Y'all could have said y'all were here before Angel and them even came on. Before we came on, y'all was sitting. I just want to make sure we're respectful of y'all time.
Y'all are good. We've been. This is top 3 podcast we've been waiting to get on.
Yay! I love it. What do you think is the biggest misconception about you individually, and then you as a couple?
Ooh, this is a good one, Melissa. Good question.
Melissa's voice was strong for that one too.
Wasn't it working just perfectly, right? Did Lord grant her enough favor for that moment?
It's grace. God's grace.
Jesus beautiful. Jesus beautiful. All right, what you got?
So I touched on this earlier. I saw a lot of comments of people being like, oh, Clara lost her sparkle. Ryan is controlling Clara, whatever. I think the biggest misconception is no man can say anything that's going to change what I'm going to say.
Okay.
If I'm losing my sparkle, it's got nothing to do with him telling me to sit down and shut up. A man cannot tell me what to do. I will heed his advice respectfully. But if I'm going to say or do something, I'm a strong, independent woman, and I'm going to say or do what I'm going to say or do. So for me, it was like, I don't know how people came to the conclusion that he's silencing me or whatever. And then I guess the biggest misconception about us was, the sex thing is obvious.
That was, man.
The love thing too, because I didn't tell him I loved him until he told me first.
Really?
Yeah, I never said that until he did first.
It wasn't in none of your letters.
So I would say I call her love all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know if I ever said love you, but I would say love Ryan but I say love all the time, texting, like a pet name, I guess.
Like hey love.
Yeah.
So was that the first time on
the reunion?
That was
Yeah.
Okay, I remember. Okay.
That really was the first time?
Yeah.
That was first time.
Oh,
that's so interesting. Okay, Ryan.
Man, that's a really good question. I gotta give you 2. One's a little silly, but it's true. And then one is a little more serious. The silly one, as as Clara speaks her opinions, especially on maybe a camera she didn't know that was working, that is wildly untrue. If I would love if those things were happening every night, but I am a man just like everybody else. And there are times where I'm tired just like everybody else in the world. So that would be really, really cool if that was happening every night. I'm putting that out there in the world that, it just doesn't. It just sucks. You know?
I was like, boy, Clara is, I said, boy, that'll take any man out. I don't care what he's trying to do. I'd be like, you know what, I'm good if you good. I mean, we ain't good.
I'm not a machine.
You know, we're getting crazy comments. It's like we have a routine. It's like 9 o'clock, supper, 10 o'clock, let's go, 10 o'clock. That's just
like, enough, you two, enough.
The one that's a little bit more serious, that's actually really near and dear to my heart, that we have had a lot of great conversations around, is specifically like around religion. I think my personal feelings on religion, I'm at a point in life where it hurts me how much religion has hurt people. And there's such a big difference between faith and religion in what you believe in. Like I've had my mom's my best friend in the world. I talk to her every single day. And we've had so many conversations of religion and religious practices. There's even a conversation I had with Clara's mom that you don't see all of it, about me saying that, they ask, do you want your kids in church every Sunday? It's like, no, that's a religious practice. If I show up to church every single Sunday, that doesn't guarantee me, doesn't put me into heaven. It's about my relationship with God.
Come on.
Say something again, boy.
and so it's really, really tough, because if there's one thing that I understand and empathize with her so much about, is having a tough time almost getting beat over the head with religion as a child. And what that has done to so many different people. I have friends, I have family. I went through that. There was a time in my life where I was struggling on what I believed in. And so it's really, really tough, because religion has been used so much to hurt people. And I would never weaponize religion against somebody else. And so that was really, really, that's something I really struggle with. And it actually really encouraged my faith and understanding of like what grace is. Because I think we as believers sometimes struggle with the concept of grace, and that we get new mercies every single day. And so these things, after something that was great to be on the show, is that me exercising and understanding those things are really, really great. I had a conversation with a friend. I know I'm long-winded on monologue.
Hey, we want to hear from y'all.
I had a conversation. This is the last thing I'll wrap up with. I had a conversation with a good friend that I used to work with, and we really broke down the concept of the scripture, John 3:16, with God giving his son to the world. And there's really two ways that I've really struggled my life looking at it, as like I'm indebted, and this is this thing that I owe this debt to, and that there's no mercy for me.
Ryan, Melissa was saying that same thing. Talk more, say things.
But viewing this as like the greatest gift and like the ultimate show of love that God could give to us. So anyway, like that was really something that was really, really tough for me. If I'll open up and say that there was comments that hurt, those are the comments that hurt the most, because I know all those comments are rooted in people hurt by religion. They're not hurt by Ryan. They're hurt by what I don't want to say what I believe in, but the appearance of what I believe in. So that was a very long-winded on my misconception.
Now, let me tell you what, because the world was ending and church was closed down. You can keep going, because this is good. This is food right here.
That was probably one of the toughest, because at the end of the day, we all deserve grace. I deserve grace. Every single person on the Zoom call deserves. Anybody watching this, we all deserve grace. And so I'm not going to sit here and condemn somebody because of what they believe in, what is right for them. My mom, I grew up with the statement of Mary telling me I don't have a heaven or hell to put you in, and I don't have one for anybody. So I'm not gonna condemn anybody.
You said your mama's name is Mary?
Mary, yes.
Oh, that's my mama's name. She used to tell me the same thing.
Yep.
Girl,
I got tell you what. Won't nobody put you in hell quicker than black people. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Black people, hey, you go to hell for that. Yeah. It's your decision, huh?
You don't even have a deed to a house. How do you have hell?
Oh, man.
You don't have a deed.
You can't even put me in the basement. How you?
This is great.
The last one. Oh, misconception of us. The biggest misconception of us. I like balance this line because something that's really made me scared. She went.
Oh,
she's
like, man, I'm up in here.
Yeah, she's tired of misconceptions as well. Misconception that I really like struggle with in like a balancing act, specifically getting into the social media world, is like Clara and I have a very strong, solid foundation. So it's almost like we fight this constant battle of like wanting to appear authentic, but not too fake and all these different things. And like at the end of the day, I'm like, we have to do what's like natural to us. Yeah. And so it's like tough sometimes, right? Because like, I think we did create a very strong, solid foundation on the show. And I did think we put in a lot of important work right there. We're still not perfect. We still have conversations. We still have disagreements. We still have fights and stuff like that, just like normal couples. But it's like almost this, it's so tough, man. I don't know. I will never, I don't, it's tough for me to put into words what it means to have your relationship in a spotlight and just have everybody have something to say about it. And the thing that I've rested my head on is like, we just have to be authentic to us. And so, you know, people can say whatever they want, you know, and that's the thing that this whole experience has taught me is like, hey man, like I can't control the narrative. I can't control what shows up on that TV screen. I can't control, you know, what happens. I gotta put in my faith and let the chips fall within me.
I want to say two things before we close out. Number one, I literally, and I mean this literally just a few weeks ago, was having a conversation with my mom about understanding the need of the story of the cross as a story of love and grace and not a story of condemnation. Like I'm so bad that someone had to die for me. And so I'm like so unworthy and like I need to constantly work to prove my worth is something I constantly have struggled with. Literally just having this conversation with my mom like a couple weeks ago. So I think that is so key. The last thing that I wanted to say was for the couples that are filming, what is your advice to them?
Oh man, that's another good one.
So my initial thought actually sort of piggybacks on what he was just saying. At the end of the experiment, at the end of the day, at the end of social media, all you have is yourself. Whether your marriage works or not, you are guaranteed your integrity and the person that you are. Granted, you absolutely can make the marriage part work, but if you are not true to yourself, your marriage isn't going to work. People are going to hate you. It's not going to work out for you. Like the most important thing I think is just being honest and being who you are. And if people don't like you for being who you are, then that's their loss. But at the end of the day, that's what you got left.
And I would add to that before I give mine in the sense of like, Clara was very true to herself. Like people have asked me, I've got messages of like, were you upset when you saw X, Y, and Z? It was like, wasn't the coolest thing in the world to see. I prefer it didn't, wasn't on there. But at the end of the day, that's how she feels. And she's being true to herself. And as a partner and a spouse, I have to hear that, even when I don't want to hear that. So I, even in my frustration, I remember the moment I found out that was going to be in an episode, I was like, what in the world is this? But in reflection, you're like, but like, what's the truth behind that? Because that is how she feels. Because the root of that is I wasn't doing a good enough job of showing her physical affection, and that's where she needed to be met at. And so, to being true to yourself, your spouse should respect that and understand that. The other thing that I would add to it is very similar to what she said. Is like these cameras are going to go away. Probably one day Instagram will go away. People will forget about Ryan Oubre and Clara Oubre at some point. Doesn't matter how many Instagram followers you got, any of that stuff. That stuff's going to go away. But like at the end of the day, like this is the person that you have to focus on. You have to put everything into it. You have to, whether you want to do it on camera or off camera, whatever it is, you have to make sure you put that person first.
Were you, last question for real, were you surprised at any of the decisions?
There was one that we thought might be a
yes or no. That's all.
Wait a minute, no. There was one that what?
We thought might be a game time decision.
Not a game time.
We didn't. We were waiting for the update, like Trey Young the other night on that hockey. We know he's a player now. Doubtful.
Yeah. The game time decision.
That's hilarious. Well, listen, do you want to close?
Yes, because this is the worst.
He's so mean.
Truly Love you guys. We are so grateful that you guys came and chopped it up with us. You know, at the end of the day, we are entertainers too, but when it comes to this show, we are just fans like anybody else. We looking forward to our favorite show with our favorite people. Thank you guys for coming on. Is there anything?
Oh yeah, real quick. It's part of the reason I think too, trying to walk the line of being like a fan of the show, trying to walk the line between being like a fan of the show, talking about the show, but also we cut it off. So like we'll do the interview with you and then that's it.
That's it.
We try not to get embroiled in the scandal and the drama that can
we like to go with only the things that were shown on the television show.
And then clock out. Cause it be girl.
Hey,
we know.
So y'all got screenshots too.
We be like, bruh, nah, we talking about the show stuff, the stuff they said. Ain't no hearsay, none of that stuff. We ain't gonna add no insult to injury.
But to be honest with you, like that's another perfect example of like there are people on social media asking us to chime in, and it's like, hey man, at this point the show is over. You can't even and ask me about what I think, because like there's an aspect to the show. It's like you sit down and do these interviews. It's like, tell me what you think about this person. Tell me what you think about it. And I'm like Marshawn Lynch. I'm like, hey, I don't get fined.
Exactly.
What is this going on, Ryan? Why don't you have it? Hey, I'm just here so I won't get fined, boss man.
Right. Now at that point, you gotta tell them like we tell them, don't show up at my job and ask me nothing.
Yes, pretty much.
And that was your energy the whole show, to be honest. From the moment Boo Boo hit the fan on that bus, Ron was like,
that's exactly what I said when it cut off.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was like, what's this? The front windshield? We'll be looking out of this.
Yes.
That's exactly what I said when our sound cut off. Ryan was over there like, that's about to be a Denny's right there.
He wasn't about it. And Clara got on board real quick. She was like, may the Lord be with you.
May the Lord watch between me and thee.
That was kind of like our go-to. It's just like, hey, babe, that's crazy, isn't it? That's crazy. I know we keep saying that the last thing I'm going to add, I'll keep it short. Is
I'm done for real.
Yeah,
that's how I know I would like you, Ryan, because we just be talking.
Yeah.
It's tough because, to be honest with you, I do want to comment and I do want to step in, and you do want to offer assistance, because again, a lot of the things that are happening on the show, I think actually, to quote you, Angel, from one of the episodes, is like, these things aren't unfamiliar. You're just seeing it on a TV screen. Like every single day, you're just seeing it on a TV screen.
Listen, quiet as kept, y'all lives on TV ain't nothing about our real life people. Oh. We'd be like, oh, if that was on TV, now our friends back home, that stuff don't hold a candle to. I mean, this stuff was light work compared to some things we done heard.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, can we?
Yes, I'm done.
Yeah, I'm done. I'll talk.
Thank you, guys. Do you want to shout your social media out? Marcus, I will remove you. I need to take a shower. I'm overheating. I'm 250 pounds. The sun is relentless. I'm hungry.
I thought you weren't hungry.
I wasn't hungry when I said it. A little bit of hunger done set in.
That was 5 minutes ago.
That's how long it takes.
Let them get their socials.
I was trying to get there.
This is marriage, Ryan and Clara.
I'm trying to
the foolish
Ryan and Clara, please shout your social media and let us know where to follow you. If you so please, unless y'all don't want people bothering y'all.
No, it's fine. It is at Ryan Oubre, RyanOubre on Instagram.
And I'm at Clara Oubre, CLARAOUBRE, and I'm on everything. Just find me everywhere.
Hey, I'm my first TikTok. I'm close to it. It's going to be on there.
Well, congratulations again to you guys. We wish you nothing but success and long marriage. We appreciate you guys. And maybe we'll all be in Atlanta. We'll go down to have a beer on. Well, I don't really drink beer, but have a drink on me.
We need to do a meetup where we actually meet all the people we've interviewed, like do a Married at First Sight meetup with the Bald and the Beautiful.
Yes.
That would be so fun.
We would love to do that.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys so much, man. Blessings to you guys. Have a great day.
Bye.